Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. We have a ton of listeners that listen in the replay, so I just want to thank you all for listening in the replay. And as well, all of our live listeners that listen, know that we'll be able to see you all today and just excited about it. So it is a glorious April the 2nd, 2019. Really excited about the episode today, why you are here. This is focused on trustee training and gearing towards what is the thought process of the trustee and why you're at the vault. The vault is about wealth preservation. The wealth is about understanding how to build business, entrepreneurship. That's what the vault is about. And so there is a need that you have, the family that you're utilizing, the family that you're growing, the family office that you're growing. All of those things are in your control. So why you are here is to perpetuate the wealth from one generation to the next. Always essential. A lot of people say, well, what is the purpose of trustee training? The purpose of trustee training is to put you in a position where you own nothing, control everything. It's where you own nothing, control everything as a trustee. Why are you here? You want to at least pass something along to your children. Why are you here? Because you're in the public or you're in the private and you are seeking to be around an association or a group of people or seeking mentorship. Once you have these impulses, ladies and gentlemen, it's rather important to follow them. The private is a very niche environment. When individuals talk about private equity or private banking, when individuals talk about private citizenship, things of that nature, individuals have to be around individuals that are of like mind. Individuals have to be around someone of like mind, someone that can mentor them. They can give them the quality information that they need in a manner in which it actually works, is demonstratable. Okay, and so we have a 100% success ratio at the vault. You know, people say, why are you here? You want to find people that you can trust so you can get proper counselship on your family and how to go about doing that estate planning from your family, for your family. Ladies and gentlemen, you hire attorneys, you hire accountants, so it's rather important to know how to put together a team. Team strategy building immediately is important. Always share with trustees. Benefit of the beneficiary. Once again, why are you here? It's to learn stewardship. It's to learn true stewardship. Meet so many individuals that don't want to pursue their passions or their dreams because of the unknown. Why are you here? Because it doesn't matter about the unknown anymore. It's called having the utmost faith in your creator and doing whatever you need to do to get the job done. So that means you have to get out your comfort zone. That's what you have to do. And you have to trust Christian. Own nothing, control everything. You have to trust the vault. If you don't, then you don't. But why are you here? It's because the vault is a resource for trustees that are basically on a continuing education program. You can liken the vault to a CLE, or what are they call it? Yeah, continuing education credit, basically, where you would get that in college. You would get a continuing education credit. We should never stop learning, ladies and gentlemen, and specifically, that's why they say people practice the law, or they practice practice medicine, is because you're ever evolving in the study in the field in which these individuals are growing. And so you're here because thanks everyone for tuning in live. King Khan and Cassandra and Lavelle. Thanks everybody for always typing in the chat. So why are you here? There's so many reasons why you're here. We deal with cases across the board. People are going through divorces. People are wanting to live in trust because they understand the benefit of being able to grow assets that aren't in their name, so they can't be sued on and get sued out of assets. So why are you here? So many reasons why, once again, ladies and gentlemen. A resource that, ladies and gentlemen, we see ladies and gentlemen have financial advisors, but these individuals aren't making more than the person that they're giving the money to, or the person that they're giving the money to doesn't make more money than them. Ladies and gentlemen, those are flawed concepts. And so investors have a responsibility, and you as a trustee have a responsibility. Traditionally, in most cases, even when individuals go from the grantor to being a trustee, you still have a fiduciary obligation to grow the trust. So when individuals, I sat at dinner tonight, and individuals said, can you start a trust without assets? There's an episode on the vault called How to Start a Trust Without Assets, if you all want to hear that. And so the episode talks about assets can be nominal or they can be intrinsic. So nominal means it actually has a monetary value. It's something that can be equated in a dollar amount. Whereas intrinsic value, those are things that they're subjective. They can be sold for a penny and they can be sold for $1 million. But those are things that have, for example, diamonds, gold. Gold's always going to have value, even though they may not circulate gold as far as like purchasing it and things like that on a everyday basis, using it as a medium of exchange. It still has intrinsic value. It's used for more than just money. It's used for many other resources. It's even in the cell phones that individuals are listening to this podcast on. Gold is in the cell phone. Apple extracts over $1 million a year in gold through their extractions of the silver and gold from their cell phones. So in their recycling program, tax deduction. In their recycling program, through their foundation, tax deduction. They get a tax deduction for recycling your cell phone because you gave them the gold and the silver back by recycling your cell phone with Apple. You all can Google it. Apple has Androids. It actually has robots. Has robots that are disassembling a cell phone and taking out the gold and the silver. So very, very important data to know when it comes to understanding what's the difference between intrinsic and the nominal aspect of property. It's very encouraging. I think we have a very niche audience that's willing to read, and so going to read the law, getting a law dictionary is very imperative. Having a law dictionary handy, will be very, very helpful. Why you are here? Because there's not many online resources that talk about the private lifestyle online. Why? because a lot of people, they just don't see the benefit of sharing it with people that they don't feel value it. And value comes from what time is put into. Time is very valuable. So putting in the time and going to the law library and understanding some basics about property, contract, being able to work within contracts, live within contracts, those things are critical. Um, Why you are here. You're here for your family, and in some cases, you're here for charity. Those are the two clientele. They want to go and protect family assets. They want to do some charity in the world. Sit in front of a lot of people that say they have a 501c3, but a lot of them talk about it from nonprofit sector. And we talk about it from the perspective of charity is to lighten the burden of government. Period. So in our realm, charity is a great investment. How long is charity gonna be around? Forever. And so we love charity. Schools, hospitals, libraries, post offices, so many different investments that you can only make if you're in certain positions, such as a private position. You know, why are you here? People want to pass on a family legacy. I see that one a lot. People want to pass on a family legacy. Everyone wants to pass on a family legacy. Passing on a family legacy is critical. And that's why you're here. And guess what? Trust don't die, depending on the type of trust you have. So there's over 80 different types of trust, but some of them don't die. So you could die and get estate tax to your estate, whereas a trust doesn't die. So now family members can step in, or other individuals that you have step in as trustees, successors, can grow the estate, the legacy. That's not just done from a family trust perspective. That's also done from a charitable perspective. That's how you know who Andrew Carnegie is. That's how you know who Rockefeller is. Because they have a Carnegie Hall. They have a Carnegie everything at a lot of colleges in the United States. They have a lot of Rockefellers at the United States. For all you all that went to HBCUs and you went to you went to what's the name of that college? Morehouse or Spelman. Morehouse was his pastor's last name, and Spelman was his wife's maiden name. Rockefeller. But these are known as HBCUs. They have large endowments with these individuals. This is how you perpetuate wealth. So why are you here? Let's just go through some of the things that have been said. Because of protection. Protection is important. And at the vault, we believe asset protection comes through asset separation. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. Asset protection comes from asset separation. Earl Monroe says, you know, I'm here to set up a trust and live private. Okay. It's just a private community. Whenever you're ready. Christian@trustchristian.com. That is the email that you all can email for a consultation. First thing comes a consultation, and then knowing the training program for yourself. Because everything is tailored, ladies and gentlemen. At the vault is private, but we're in public environments, and we see what public investments are being made as well. When you're in the private, you make public investments, ladies and gentlemen. It's just from a private position. So when once again you're around private individuals, you're around private trustees that live that lifestyle. So very imperative to understand that you're in all of those environments to create Can anyone set up a trust? I actually could pull out the dictionary, but because that's a great question, which is, can anyone set up a trust? And it's almost safe to say that an infant can set up a trust. You all can look this up. I know an infant can be a trustee, but you all will have to look that up in a legal dictionary, and I think you all will see if a trustee can be an infant. But I want you all to look into that. That would be a great question for you all to come back with. I know that can anyone set it up? When you say anyone, that was very generic, and so in law you have to be specific. So definitely don't know what more comment would be necessary on that. But why are you here? Because you all have these type of questions, and so you all can Google search private trust consultants and see how many pop up. Private trust lawyers, you can Google them, and you can see how much their services cost. You all can Google private trustee training, and you can see there are private programs. Traditionally, they're going to bounce you right back to the public trust training programs that are provided across the board. Because why? Ladies and gentlemen, the secret is in what it is. Contract law is private. So you have to know contract. And that's pretty much the laws that govern the private or governing the public. When it comes to contract, there's elements of a contract that need to be adhered to publicly or privately. And so those are pretty like professional code of standard and conduct across the board when you're dealing in contract. So why are you here? Because the resource is a relationship. The resource is relationships and right environments. Very, very important. So many people contact the vote and say, I'm in an area that I don't really have a lot of people that think like the trust and think like the private family foundation. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that's the results that you're getting in life. Ladies and gentlemen, individuals that have these entities hang around each other. Yes, they do. So yes, you might move. There are individuals that told me, I've been thinking about moving. So now you see that you might have to move into a more industrious place. That's just being direct and lifestyle. But we believe at the Vault that you can make it anywhere. Whatever you had to do, you're always going to make it, because that's what the Creator did. It's all about advancement. So at the end of the day, why are you here? Because far too long has information just been not taught and shared. And so what's operating in the elite is sharing. Because we're in a society now where sharing is everything. You know, they say sharing is caring, and sharing, and everybody wants to share. They're sharing their house, they're sharing their car, they're sharing. So as you can see, the trend is there. And so creating more assets than liability helps the planet, ladies and gentlemen. Creating more assets instead of liabilities. Contract is what created this country. It was created off the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. And for those documents to be so eloquently written as business contracts, you know, I hear so many people, you know, and they say even about treaties, they, oh, the treaties have so much power. Right. Contracts. Signatures. And so A lot of we even have consultations from other jurisdictions, Europe, and in Canada as of recent, and and this is global, ladies and gentlemen. We can name Asia, and we can name as well Australia. So very diverse, eclectic base of why you are here. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, there's things called sovereign wealth funds. I may not have done the news today, but sovereign wealth funds are on the move. They're gonna write articles about sovereign wealth funds in 2 to 3 more years and say what happened to the sovereign wealth funds. What that's what they're gonna say. What happened to the sovereign wealth funds in Saudi and Brazil and China and Canada and Mexico and India? What happened to them? Guess what? India went through a restructuring. They're almost done. When I say done, they're almost done restructuring. I can see India easily moving into more of a position of power economically. They've done things economically to restructure their country. Period. They've taken dollar bills out of the circulation. They've made it a point to tighten up in their country, do their best to create lower inflation rates. China has had to pass higher tax rates recently, if you all don't know, because of Donald Trump putting tariffs on them. So that's a good thing. And as for an Americans, because why? Now you all can see that they have raised taxes on their own country because they're not getting the type of capital that they were getting from the United States. Very critical. Critical positions are being taken right now, even with the sovereign wealth funds. But ladies and gentlemen, best believe sovereign wealth funds are communities of pretty much wealthy families that are working together, and they are moving into more of a position of a banking position, and they're financing countries, ladies and gentlemen. And so you all can look into sovereign wealth funds. One of them is called BRICS, 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 and they have other countries that are joining forces that are looking to create, well, I wouldn't say necessarily an international banking cartel, but it's close to it. You all can look into sovereign wealth funds, and these are funds that are in a position now, ladies and gentlemen, to really bail out countries and help countries restructure. So you all can look into why you're here. The financial landscape is changing, and they say a lot of young millennials, or they say a lot of even older people aren't aware of the financial market. Ladies and gentlemen, for the news that's being put out, they're screaming a financial slowdown. And all I can say is well, some things do slow down. So why are you here? So you don't have to wait till you get this so-called retirement that's going to come to you through what people hate. There's so many people that hate what people consider, Social Security and things like that. It's like, wow, that's so sad. So many people hate Social Security. They don't think they're going to get it. So many younger people, they hate it. And ladies and gentlemen, they don't believe in a trust fund. They don't believe in any of that. And there's older generations that are benefiting from that stuff. But why are you here? Because you know they might not be here for you. Or there's going to be borrowing. There's going to be repercussions to the situation. Ladies and gentlemen, why are you here? To be a part of what you know is right and true. True privacy. Period. I encourage you all to go back and look at the Zuckerberg congressional interviews. See how those questions were answered. Go back and listen to how a private man operates in the public. And you all look at his position. I believe his position is a chairman of the company. So he's not even an owner. They don't state him as the owner. So you're the owner. He's not the owner at a billion-dollar company, and you're the owner of a company that's $1 million or less, or even in between that, an owner. And he's not the owner. He's the chairman. See, these are strategic positions that are taken. We did an episode with the vault of how you can make $1 like a Steve Jobs and literally still fly in private jets and live in mansions. That's on the vault. That's why you're here. It's a thought process that leads to a way of moving. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the same information Rockefeller used. Rockefeller didn't have a high school education. See, people wonder, how is it that these people that don't have college degrees make it? I'm going to tell you what it is. They get their hands on specific pieces of information. They say you live in an information age, and it's all about having the value content, and it's private, which means it's not on the internet. Then you have diamonds in the rough. And so that is the case, ladies and gentlemen. There are things that are definitely not on the internet because it's just not private. But there are things that you all can do to position yourselves to where you can live, eat, sleep, and drink privacy. Because I know that's what a lot of the vault listeners want. And we all always appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. If you all have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. I might get off here in the next 5 minutes. And so feel free to type something into the chat if you all have any questions. I appreciate you all for listening live or tuning in into the replay. Yes, MV, appreciate you. And so, why are you here? You're seeking a better life, and you need your hands on that information that Rockefeller had, because he didn't have but anything but a high school education. The same thing Ford had his hands on. That's why all of them created. They were brought up in a time of what you called the Anti-Sherman Act and the Antitrust Act and the Clayton Act and things of that nature. These are the individuals that, Carnegie, they were all a part of that whole experience of, antitrust laws. And that's why you don't hear those things even talked about in the public as a whisper almost, because, who is going to talk about such a subject when those companies, and then you saw Microsoft get attacked for it, and now you're seeing the next group of ringleaders that are VCs, financiers in the world. Facebook in particular is being looked at, and content is being questioned. And as you all can see that in the congressional interview, you all can see that privacy is being protected. Yeah, there was a good interviews. There's some good interviews we saw this past week at the vault. I encourage you all to even go back and look at the Google interview with the Congress. We're living in times like those, ladies and gentlemen. They did congressional reviews of Standard Oil. Okay, so this person in the chat, K Radic 188 K-Drac. Can a person trade stocks in a trust? A trust is a person. Ladies and gentlemen, a trust is a person. It's like you. It can buy, sell, hold, and lease property. Ladies and gentlemen, you all can go talk to a lawyer about this. This is why people get into trust. This is just one of those informative environments where you want to get the conversation rolling in your head before you start going out and talking to, counsel and lawyers and things of that nature. Public lawyers. That's what you're going to get, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you can Google, and I've encouraged you all throughout this episode to Google the private ones other than the vault. So, thank you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. We appreciate why you are here, because we understand it is for your families. A lot of the times it's for family. A lot of the time it's for not wanting to be a part of a compromising and liable position. Liability. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end with the most passionate and sincere statement. You are your greatest liability. That is the truth. I've seen it over and over as an investor that individuals, because of their ignorance and not knowing, they make bad investment decisions. And so, investor experience comes through either learning from others' experience or your own. And so, there's a difference between an entrepreneur and an investor. And investors, ladies and gentlemen, have a different level of risk. Someone just typed a great question into the chat, MV. But one thing I'll say about their question, and you all can look in the chat, says, can you trust also function? Can you? I don't know how that is. MV, could you correct that quickly? Can you trust or have the title of a company? Once again, if a trust can buy, sell, hold, and lease property, what is and that in relation to when it comes to a title? Ladies and gentlemen, all this information is in a law library. To separate the strong, they're going to read. They're going to go to the law library. The others, they're going to come on the vault and do their best to get the 25 minutes and or do consultation, Christian at Trust Christian. But ladies and gentlemen, the action takers are going to win in 2019, and that's what's happening right now. I appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. We're here for you, because that's why we know why you're here. The vault, the resource, private trust, private family foundation. There are less than 85,000 private family foundations